Mr. Irontrader, it is Monday morning. It's time to go to work. Now, big shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. They won the old Super Bowl. Wow, happy for them. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, silver, crude oil, and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, selling stock on ETF. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have Bitcoin daily and weekly chart. Now, before we get started here, we've got CPI inflation coming in. We've got a delayed jobs report coming in. So it could be a lot going on this a week. Now, Friday we had a huge update, but remember, one day does not make a market. Okay, so just remember that. Now, NASDAQ futures are down about 132 here. So we got to see how this is all going to shake out here, and then maybe look for like a turnaround Tuesday situation. Okay, you can see here how we hit this 6,005 level. This is what we're watching here, was that 58,422. And that's your 200-day here on your weekly chart kind of a situation, okay? So now, again, on the downside here, we're watching, obviously, today's low, looking at that 68,485 level, okay? So now, when we look right here, okay, the next level right there, that's 68,485, okay? So right here, your next level is going to be right there at, what am I looking at here? Yeah, okay, 65 210 level, okay? That's what it's going to be looking at next. And we come down here to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 62 645 level. And then we're going to be looking right here for this 200-day at 544 422, I should say. But right before that, we had that 6,000 flat, pretty much flat mark, okay? So again, that is your downside action. But if we start losing this 58,422 level, then we have to look right to the left of the chart right here. You're looking at 54,545. We'll look down here at 52,820 level. But this is the big boy right here. Is going to be that 49,365. That's going to be your big downside target, okay? Because that's coming right off the top of that candle. Now, again, if we start losing that, well, then we can come down here. You know, you're looking at 45,260, and we can keep venturing right on down 42. We come down here to that 38,540 level, okay? So, again, you know, this is going to be your key support level. We need to hold that. If not, we just look right to the left of the chart, and this is the big boy. Well, when we lose the big boy, we could come on venture all the way down to that 38 level here too. So just remember that. Now, here on the upside, well, we're looking for Friday's high again. Okay, so that's going to be 71 690 level. We'll look for today's high, 72 760 level. And then we'll look for the top of that candle, 73 575. And this is what we're looking for at 74 928. Now, Friday, I pointed it out as that 8-day. When the futures open Sunday night, that 8-day is going to be lower, and obviously it's going to be lower. And this is going to provide very strong resistance area. Okay, so just remember that. Now, if you can get above that key 8-day SMA, then we'll come up to the top of that candle, 77 110. Then we're looking for this gap. Okay, 79 660. That's your gap. And then we look to the bottom of the candle, 81 210. Your gap and your fill. A lot of times I always point that out because a lot of times they go right to the gap. Doesn't necessarily have to do the fill. Okay, and then we get like a sideways action. But once it starts getting in, then it wants to do that fill, okay, at 81 210. Then we venture up here, look at that 83 210 level. Then we're going to be looking for that 21-day at 85 231. And then we have your 50-day at 87 959. Now, you can see your price here is below all your simple moving averages. And there's nothing bullish about that, okay? Now, we came all the way down here, got to an oversold condition, popped up, but now we're sitting there kind of riding the situation. And this right here, this is still on the downside, shows that momentum to the downside. There's nothing here, but upside, just watch that key level, 74 632. That's going to be a big target. And then watch the bottom of that candle, 62 480. And then right here is your big retest at 60 005. Now, remember, easy way to trade this, I do is BITX for the long, BITI for the short ski. Okay, now if you're just a long trader, just have patience, sit on your hands, okay? But if we start losing this 200-day on a closing basis, it's going to be man out the window time, okay? All right, let's take a look here now at Ethereum. All right, here we have Ethereum. Now, what we were watching here on the big boy here was that 24.54. That was that 200-day. Now, you can see we're a gap right below that and then went all the way down to this 17.448 level. Okay, so if you look just right to the left of the chart here, you got 17.57. This is going to be your support level, a 17.44 level. Okay, so right there, 17.48. Right there, 1744. Okay, so that's going to be your key support level. Okay, now if we start losing that, okay, if we start losing that, we'll come to the top of that candle, 1694. We'll come to the bottom there. You're looking at 1537, and then we have your big retest down here all the way at 1387 level. Okay, so it has definitely room to run. And that's a big target there on the downside. Okay, so here now on the upside here, what we're looking for is today's high. We had 2154 level. Your next level there is 2176, and then we're gonna start running right into that 8-day again at 2277. Now we get above that, we come to the top of that candle, okay, at 2300, and then we have the same thing we have on Bitcoin. Here's your gap, okay, 2405, and then we can look to the bottom of that candle right there at that 2641. Your gap and your fill, and then we have your 21-day, then we have your 50 SMA here. Okay, so an easy way to just look at it is just put a weekly chart side by side. And remember, your weekly is a lot more stronger even than what your daily chart is. But any kind of run up here, watch this 8-day. Just like you do on Bitcoin, it's going to be very, very strong resistance. It's going to take some kind of a catalyst to blow through. RSI pretty much there. Now, that even got above that 30 mark here, so we got to an oversold condition, but this is still momentum onto the downside here, and your price is below all your simple moving averages like in Bitcoin. So you really have to get back here on a weekly. Here's your gap. Okay, there's that 2405, and there's your fill, obviously, at that 2641. But you got to at least get back above that 2454 here by Friday. If not, this is here could go lower, and here's your big target going to be all the way down here at that 1387. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. All right, here we have gold, here we have silver. Okay, so now easy way I trade that is GLD for the long on gold and silver. I do SLV. Now I'm still long silver because it's holding that 50 SMA, and I have no trade here in gold. Okay, so what we're watching on the downside, watching that 8-day sitting right there. Okay, 49.70 level. That's going to be very, very critical. Then what we can do is we come right here to the top of that candle, 49.05. And then we'll be looking 48.81. Okay, so that's going to be your very, very strong support. But really, just watch that 8-day. We come right down to 21-day. Now we start losing that. We want to come right to the bottom there. Looking at 47.79 level. We'll come down here. We're looking at that 46.90. You can see how nice that has been holding right across. And if we lose that, then we have that 50-day at 45.72, and then we have this retest at 44.23 right there. We lose that right there. 100-day. That's your target. Okay, just that simple. Now, on the upside, we made this high of 5069, and this is what we're looking for is 5113. So if you look right to the left here, okay, 5107, 5113. You can see how it got just a little bit above it, but that was your resistance area, and then we also take the bottom of that candle. So right there, that's strong, strong resistance. Now we get above that, and we come to the top of that candle, 5190, and we can venture right up here, 5452. 54.80 and then 56.26. So once we can get above this area right here, okay, then we can shoot for this. But once we get above that, you got a lot of room here to run all the way to maybe even at 56.26. But right now, just watch that 8-day and watch the top of this candle. You got to bust above that in order for us to even, attempt that. Now, here we have that way overbought condition. Now you're only sitting at 56. This isn't too bad here. The green is a sideways action. So right now here, let's just let the day shake out, and so we'll see how that can go unfold. So we start rolling above this candle right here, 5113, then I'll probably jump right into that GLD here, at least take it up to the next level kind of a situation. Okay. Now here we have silver. I feel a little bit more confident in silver. Now, the reason I do with silver is when they're doing all this big AI build out and everything, you need silver. Okay, silver is going to be very, very key. Gold is more right now here of a fear factor situation, but silver, you're going to need really that for all your connections, all that kind of stuff. So silver is going to be very, very important. Okay, now the key is what we have to do is we have to hold this 50-day. That's going to be key. That is going to be your 77.22 level. Okay, now we lose it, we'll come right to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at 74 flat. Okay, then we come right down here. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and then we'll come right down to the bottom of that candle there. You're looking at 71.20 level. Okay, then we come right down here to this big retest all the way down to 63.90, but you notice that it held that 100-day at that 62.80. Okay, so that's going to be very, very key. Okay, very, very key level. But we really need to hold that 50-day. Now, upside, okay, we're going to be looking at today's highs. That's at 82.12. But this is what we're looking for right here is going to be that 8-day. You can see how strong this is. Now, see we had this bear flag. See that? pull, then we had that flag going, and then boom, down she goes, and that's usually what happens. But this was a really good trade. It was Thursday night, about 8 o'clock at night, and this was a really good trade to take it at least up to there. But now, as long as we're holding that 50-day, I'm going to be long. We lose that 50-day, I'm out of it. Okay, just that simple. Now, what I'm watching on the upside is going to be that 85.03 level. We get above that. Right here's your next time target, 88 flat. And then we have 89.10. We'll come up here to 89.83. And then we're looking for that 91.77 level. That's going to be very key. And we crack that. Well, then we just venture right on here. Okay, you got 93.56. We have 95.78. We come up here at 96.73. And then we just work yourself all the way up here, all the way until we get to that 121 level. But again, strong resistance. This is not bullish in any factor when that 8-day crosses that 21-day. Okay, now 45, that's not overbought or oversold. The green is still below your red. See the momentum to the downside. So when you get these bear flag situation runs up here, doesn't mean that it can't do the exact same thing and then pull right back again. So give it a little time to shake out and watch that 50-day if you are long. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude oil. Alrighty, here we have the old crude ski. Okay, one of my favorite trades. Okay, so obviously we're holding that key 200-day. Okay, that's going to be very, very key is that 200. Okay, so we smashed right into it, couldn't get through it. Then we got above it and held it right there, held it, and held it on a closing basis. Yeah, did it go through there? Yes, but it closed above it. That's all that matters, okay, is on a closing basis. So this is what your key support level is, that 62.25. That's going to be key. Then we can come right down here to that 61.88. Then we can venture down here at 61.39, and then we come down to that 61.12. Then we're looking for the 100-day at 60.08, and then we have your 59.57. That's all your key support levels. But right now we have sideways action. Now, I guess over the weekend there, they seized a Iran tanker. And that can't be good for negotiations. Maybe it is. I don't know. But we'll have to see how that shakes out. However, last Friday, the U.S. had a meeting with Iran, and they said Iran said the meeting went very, very well. So we'll just see how that's going to shake out. So just be a little bit patient here when we got sideways action. Now, here we have on the upside is watch that 64.05. You got to get back above it. Not like Friday with that pop and drop situation, but you got to close above it. If you do, then our next target is going to be is Friday's high, that 64.58 level right here, 64.67, and right here is 64.74. Okay, that's going to be your strong resistance. We get above that, then we have a nice target up here, 65.53. Then we have 66.11, and then 66.48, kind of a situation. Okay, so right now here we're trading a ping pong action. Okay, just watch that 200-day on the downside, and then watch that key 8-day on the upside. That's what we're going to be trading today's range. Okay, easy way I trade this: UCO for the long, SCO for the short. A lot of ways to trade this. You can do options, you can do futures, a lot of stuff that you can do. Okay, I just try the easiest way because I trade other things, and that's just the easy way, big volume, in, out situation, no issues. Okay, so right here, 58 sideways action. The green is still over your red, and that's basically all we have is sideways action. The key level is once you get above that 8-day, and then we can attack that 66.48. We break that level, then we come right down here to the bottom. You're looking at 68.56. We'll come up here. You're looking at 69.58. This is the big boy up here at that 70.51 level. Okay, if we can keep getting a roll up, but it's going to need a catalyst to get up there, so you got to be a little bit patient. All right, let's take a look now at natural gas. Alrighty, here we have natural gas. Okay, now I did not short this over the weekend. Simple reason, probably would have been a decent short. I don't like holding natural gas anything over the weekend or anything because they don't call it the widowmaker here for nothing. Okay, but again, you still got plenty of room here to play with. Okay, so we had this bear flag situation. Okay, see how they say we had a nice good green thing. This is a perfect example of why I don't hold it overnight or over the weekend. Okay, so right here, see this green flag. Green candle here. Look at how nice it is. It says, wow, we're above the 50-day, 21-day, 100-day, 200-day. This is going higher. And look what happened the next day. Okay, it just boom, all the way on down. Then we had this run up. So anything can happen with natural gas. So always remember that. Okay, now what we're looking here for on the upside here is we hit 3.26. There's your gap. Then we're going to look for the bottom of that candle at 3.38. And then we're going to be looking for that 8-day at 3.56. And then 3.59. That is your 200-day. You get above that. Right there, simple, 3.9, there's your 100-day. We have your 21-day at 3.98, and then your 50-day at 4.13. They're all lined up just like little soldiers, okay? Very, very easy. Okay, now on the downside, okay, what we're looking for today, we hit a low of 3.16. So if you just look to the left here, what do you have? 3.16. Okay, so we're looking here, right here, that is your key support level. We lose it, it's obvious, right there, 3 flat. That's where it's going. Okay, just that simple, 3 flat. Now, again, we start losing that area, then we'll come to the bottom there, 292, and then we have 289. Okay, then we come down here, you got 280, and then we come here, 277. Then we have 265, and then we have 262. That's your big retest. Okay, so very, very simple. Now at 42, these charts are kind of starting to come together after that contract roll. So 42, that's not overbought or oversold. The green's below red. You can see the momentum, but you got this bear flag situation. But let it play out here. Maybe we can get back a run up here. Maybe even fill that gap, and maybe even to that 8 net. That a 200-day average. If not, we're going to come right down, sink right down here to that 3 flat. That's just it. Okay, so now if you shorted it over the weekend, I say good for you. I just don't like taking it because I say this is a perfect example. Look how nice this was above everything. Looks like it's going to go higher and start retesting all these levels here. And what happened? Boom. She just dropped right off the map. And then we have that bear flag situation and then drop down again. Okay, so however you would trade, to me, I always look at risk to reward. Okay, that's a simple. I can always jump back into this. Okay, KOLD, I can jump in there. I can jump into the UNG here. You know, very, very simple. It's really not that big of a problem. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here midday trading, and we'll take a look at some stocks. We'll see what's going on here. Let me see. The Nasdaq futures now are down only about 104. Okay, so that's not too bad. Let's just see what's happening here. Easy way to trade like the tech market is with TQQQ's level. And it also pays a small dividend. Now, there's a lot of earnings going to be coming out this week here also. But a lot of the big tech earnings are here pretty much behind us. So let's see if they can do a little bit of recovering, as they say. All right, traders in front of you. Now what you want.